Hey everyone, and welcome back to a super in-depth session. Today, we're taking our web-based resume builder to the next level. We're going to start by breaking down every line of code, understanding how our front-end and backend are built. Then, we'll switch gears and see this application come alive, walking through the entire user experience, from picking a template with live previews, to filling out your details, generating your resume, downloading it, and finally, proving that your data has been successfully saved to our database on the backend. Our tech stack remains the same, but we'll explore each component in detail. HTML for foundational structure, Tailwind CSS for efficient and modern styling, JavaScript for all the dynamic client-side logic, and on the backend, Python Flask for our API services, with SQLite acting as our persistent data storage. Let's start by dissecting the code, piece by piece. Our front-end is a single HTML file, index.html, which bundles our HTML structure, Tailwind CSS configuration, custom CSS, and all our JavaScript logic. Let's begin with a head section. We have our standard doctyp HTML, declaration and HTML tag, setting up our document. The meta charset equals sign, UTF-8, ensures proper character encoding, while meta name equals viewport content equals sign, width equals sign device width, initial scale equals sign 1. 0 inches is crucial for responsive design, making our app adapt to different screen sizes, from mobile to desktop. The title tag, of course, sets the text displayed in your browser tab. Next, we include the Tailwind CSS CDN using a script tag. This is how we bring Tailwind's utility classes directly into our project, without a complex build process. Immediately following, we have a script block for Tailwind, config. This isn't CSS directly. It's JavaScript that configures Tailwind. Here, we've extended its default theme to include our custom inter font family and defined a primary color, #4F46E5, which makes it easy to maintain consistent branding throughout our application. Below that, a style block contains our custom CSS. We apply the inter font globally to the body, set a light BG gray 50 background, and a dark text gray 800 for readability. We also add custom scrollbar styles for a polished look, and simple focus states for input fields, using Tailwind's ring utilities, providing clear visual feedback when a user interacts with a form element. Moving into the body, this is where all our visible content resides. The main application is wrapped in a div with classes like FlexGrow, Container MXAuto, and responsive padding, P4MD, P8, ensuring it's centered and spaced well on all devices. We then organize our content into distinct section elements, each with a unique ID to control its visibility. And content, welcome section, resume builder section, and download section. These are set up for smooth transitions using transition opacity and hidden classes, managed by JavaScript. The welcome section is the entry point. It starts with a welcoming heading and text, dynamically animating into view. The core of this section is our template selection grid. We use a Tailwind grid layout to arrange the template cards, ensuring they adapt beautifully across different screen sizes. Each template card is a div with a data template attribute. This attribute is critical for our JavaScript to identify which template has been selected. Inside each card, we now have img tags pointing to external URLs. These aren't just placeholders, they're images designed to resemble actual resume layouts, giving you a much better visual idea of what each template offers. The wfull hfull object cover object top classes ensure these images fill their containers nicely while maintaining their aspect ratio. Below the template grid, a new div with ID equals template preview area and ID equals sample resume preview is introduced. This area is initially hidden and will dynamically display a full-length sample resume as you click on different template cards. This is a key user experience improvement. Finally, the Start Building My Resume button acts as the user's next step. It contains a comprehensive form, ID equals resume form. We use field set and legend tags to semantically group related input fields. This not only helps with organization, but also improves accessibility. Standard input types like text, email, tel, URL, and textaria are used. Notice the full name input has the required attribute for basic HTML5 validation. For sections like education, work experience, projects, and awards, we use dynamically added div elements. Each education entry, experience entry, etc., contains its own set of inputs and a remove button. This allows users to add as many entries as needed, providing great flexibility. A generate resume button at the bottom triggers the form submission. Once the resume is generated, the download section becomes visible. It shows a resume preview area, where the final HTML version of the resume is displayed. It also offers download resume and start new resume buttons. The download modal is a hidden overlay that appears when you click download resume. It lets you choose between PDF and Word formats. Word is a future placeholder feature, as it's more complex. Finally, the message box is our custom, non-intrusive alert system. It's a div that pops up from the bottom right, providing subtle user feedback instead of disruptive alert dialogues. Now, let's deep dive into the JavaScript logic, located at the very end of our body tag. This ensures all HTML elements are loaded. Before the script tries to access them, we load JS-PDF from a CDN, a library that allows us to generate PDF files directly in the browser from HTML content. DOM element variables. We start by grabbing references to all the essential HTML elements using document-getElementById. This is standard practice for interacting with the page. Selected template. This variable stores the data template value of the currently selected resume template. Sample resume data. This is a large JavaScript object containing pre-filled dummy data for all resume sections. This data is crucial because it's what we'll use to render the live previews. When you select a template on the welcome screen, show message type function, our custom feedback system. It sets the text content, applies dynamic Tailwind classes, makes the box visible, and then hides it after a short delay, providing a much smoother user experience than traditional alert calls. Template selection logic. We loop through all elements with the template card class using document query selector all template card. For each card gets an add event listener click attached. Inside the listener, we first remove the border primary class from all cards to deselect them visually. Then we add border primary to the clicked card, highlighting it. Selected template is updated with the data template of the clicked card. We show a message confirming the template selection. Crucially, we call generate resume HTML, sample resume data, selected template. Here, this uses our predefined sample data and the chosen template to render the HTML. The generated HTML is then inserted into sampler resume preview dot in nerhtml dot. Finally, template preview area class list. Remove hidden opacity 0 and template preview area class list. Add opacity 100. Make the preview area visible with a smooth fade-in. This is how each template shows a different live preview. Section visibility management. Event listeners on start building BTN and start new BTN handle the transitions between our welcome, builder, and download sections. They use opacity 0 and hidden classes to create smooth fade-out and fade-in effects. When starting a new resume, the form is also reset, and dynamic entries are cleared and re-added as single empty inputs. Dynamic form fields, add entry function. This function is responsible for adding new education, experience, project, or award input blocks. It takes a container id and the template HTML for a new entry. It creates a new div from the HTML string and appends it to the specified container. Important, it also attaches a click event listener to the remove entry BTN within the newly added entry. This ensures that every dynamically added entry can also be removed. Form submission, resume form, add event listener submit, async event =sign. This is the core logic that connects our frontend to the backend. Event prevent default. This is vital. It stops the browser's default form submission behavior, allowing our JavaScript to take full control. Data collection. We create a form data object from the form, which simplifies retrieving data from standard input fields. For dynamic sections, we manually loop through each entry, collect the values from their respective inputs, and push them into structured arrays within our main data object. This ensures our data is well organized in a JSON-compatible format. Client-side validation. We perform a basic check to ensure the full name field is not empty. If it is, we display an error message and return to stop the submission. Console, log, sending resume data to backend. JSON, stringify, current resume data null 2. This line is extremely important for debugging. Before sending the data, it prints the entire JSON payload to your browser's developer console. allowing you to inspect exactly what the front end is sending. Fetch/API/save resume. This is the asynchronous API call to our Flask backend. Method post specifies that we are sending data. Headers, content type, application/JSON tells the backend that the body of our request is JSON. Body, JSON stringify current resume data, converts our JavaScript data object into a JSON string, which is the format the backend expects. Backend response handling. If response OK, checks if the HTTP response status is a success. 200/299. If not, it means the backend encountered an error. Const error text equals sign await response text. We attempt to read any error message sent back by the backend. Throw new error. We throw a JavaScript error, which is caught by our try-catch block. Const result equals sign await response. JSON. If the response is OK, we parse the JSON response from the backend. Console log resume data saved. Result logs the backend success message. Show message resume data saved to database. Success provides user feedback. Resume preview generation. Client side. Const resume HTML equals sign generate resume HTML. Current resume data, selected template, is called again, but this time with the actual user-entered data. Resume a preview dot in any HTML equals sign resume HTML. Updates the preview in the download section. UI transition. The resume builder section fades out, and the download section fades in. Error handling, catch error. Any errors during the fetch call are caught here, logged to the console, and displayed to the user via our show message function. Finally, the generate resume btn, disabled equals sign false, ensures the button is re-enabled, regardless of success or failure. Generate resume HTML data, template function detailed. This is the heart of our template differentiation. It takes the data and the template name. It uses a large if-else-if structure to build completely different HTML strings based on the template value. AJAX, NAMNS, modern, dynamic. Download logic shows the download modal. Cancel download btn hides it. Download PDF btn calls generate PDF. Download Word btn is a placeholder, as true Word document generation is complex and typically requires server-side processing. Generate PDF data template function. This function utilizes the JS PDF library. It takes the resume preview element, effectively capturing its rendered HTML content, and converts it into a PDF file. The doc HTML method is powerful, allowing us to export the live HTML to PDF. A small set timeout ensures all elements and styles are fully rendered before PDF generation. Close message BTN closes our custom message box. Now, let's turn our attention to the backend app, Py, which is built using Python with the Flask framework and SQLite as our database. Imports. We bring in necessary modules. Flask for our web server. Request and JSONify for handling incoming requests and sending JSON responses. Send underscore from underscore directory to serve static files. SQL Alchemy for database interaction. JSON for JSON parsing. And DataTime for timestamps. App initialization. App equals sign Flask name creates our Flask application instance. Database configuration. We set up our SQLite database. Base underscore dir points to the current directory, and db underscore path defines the full path for resumes. db app config SQL Alchemy database URI connects Flask SQL Alchemy to this file. SQL underscore track underscore modifictions equals sign false disables a warning. db equals sign SQL Alchemy app. This initializes our SQL Alchemy object, linking it to our Flask app. Class resume db model. This is our database model, defining the structure of our resumes table in SQLite. It's an object relational mapper, ORM. We define Python classes, and SQL Alchemy handles the SQL translations. ID equals sign db, column db, integer primary underscore key equals sign true, an auto-incrementing integer as the primary key. Data equals sign db, column db, text nullable equals sign false. This is key. We store the entire incoming JSON resume data as a text string in the database. This provides flexibility, as our resume structure can vary. Timestamp equals sign db, column db, date time. Default equals datatime, UCNO, records when the entry was created. Underscore underscore repr underscore underscore, and to underscore dict. Utility methods. Underscore underscore repr underscore underscore helps with debugging, and to underscore dict is vital for converting a resume database object back into a Python dictionary, which can then be serialized to JSON and sent back to the front end. Notice how JSON, loads, self, data is used here to parse the stored JSON string back into a Python dictionary. Database initialization. The with app context, DB. Create underscore all block runs when the Flask app starts. DB. Create underscore all inspects all defined DB model classes and creates corresponding tables and resumes DB if they don't already exist. This ensures our database is set up automatically. A helpful message is printed to the terminal confirming the database path. Flask uses at app route decorators to define API endpoints, which are specific URLs that our application listens to for requests. At app route / this is our root URL. When you navigate to http://127.0.1 this route is triggered. Return send underscore from underscore directory, base underscore dir, index, HTML. Flask serves our frontend HTML file, which the browser then renders. At app, route/API/save resume, methods equals post. This is the critical endpoint for saving resume data. Methods equals post specifies that this endpoint only responds to post requests, which are used to submit data. app.logger.info. We've added extensive logging here. These messages will appear in your Flask terminal and are indispensable for debugging. They tell us when a request is received, its content type, and the actual JSON payload. If not request, is JSON. This checks if the incoming request's content type header is indeed application/JSON. If not, it's a 400 bad request. Resume underscore data equals sign request. Get JSON. This parses the incoming JSON data from the frontend's fetch call into a Python dictionary. Basic validation. If not resume underscore data or not. Resume data, get personal info, get full name. Checks if the received data is empty or if the full name is missing, sending a 400 error if so. Resume underscore data underscore str equals sign JSON. Dumps. Resume data. We convert the Python dictionary resume underscore data back into a JSON string. This is essential because our data column in the SQLite table is designed to store text. New underscore resume equals sign resume. Data equals resume data str. A new resume object is created with the JSON string. DB session. Add new resume and db.session.com MIT. These lines add the new underscore resume object to the database session, and then commit the transaction, saving the data permanently to resumes. DB. Error handling. Except exception is E. A try except block catches any errors during the saving process. DB session rollback is crucial here, as it ensures that if an error occurs mid-transaction, any partial changes are undone, maintaining database integrity. App logger exception. Error saving resume data logs the full Python traceback to the terminal, which is incredibly useful for identifying the root cause of backend errors. Return JSONify. A JSON response is sent back to the front end, indicating success, 201 created, and providing the ID of the new resume entry. At app, route/API/resumes, methods equals get, and at app, route/API/resumes/int resume ID, methods equals get. These are optional, but demonstrate how to retrieve data. The first fetches all resumes from the database, and the second retrieves a specific resume by its ID. They use resume queryall, or DB, session, get, resume underscore id respectively, then convert the resume objects to dictionaries using to underscore dict for JSON serialization. Running the Flask app. The if underscore name underscore equals sign underscore main underscore block executes only when app py is run directly. Logging, basic config, level equals logging info. This configures Python's built-in logging to display info level messages in the terminal. This is why you'll see all our app.logger.info messages. App.run, debug equals sign true, host equals sign 0.0.0.0, port equals sign 5000. This starts the Flask development server. Debug =true provides automatic code reloading and detailed error messages in the browser, while host =0.0.0.0 makes it accessible from your network, and port =5000 sets the listening port. Now that we understand the code, let's see our resume builder in action. First, ensure your Flask backend is running. I've already executed Python app, Py in my terminal. You can see Flask confirming it's running, and the database connection. Let's open our browser and navigate to http://127.0.1.5000. You're greeted by our welcome screen, showing the 4 template options. First, I'll click AJAX Professional. Notice the traditional, clean layout appearing in the preview area below. Now I'll select Naman's Classic. See how the header style changes, and the skills section switches to a neat 2-column format. Next, Modern Minimalist. The preview now shows a more open, airy design with subtle separators. And finally, Professional Dynamic. This template truly stands out with its bold, colored header and the unique chip style for skills. This interactive preview helps you instantly visualize your resume's potential appearance. Once I've chosen my template, I'll click Start Building My Resume. The interface smoothly transitions to our resume details form. Here, you'll fill in all your personal information: summary, education, experience, skills, projects, and awards. See how I can easily add multiple education entries by clicking Add Education, and similarly for experience, projects, or awards. This dynamic input system makes it very flexible. Once all the data is entered, I'll click Generate Resume. You'll briefly see our custom Generating Resume message. Then, in a flash, your complete resume appears in the preview area, beautifully rendered with all your entered data, using the styling of the template you selected. Now, to get a copy, I'll click Download Resume. Our modal appears, prompting for a format. We'll select Download as PDF, and just like that, your professional resume is downloaded directly to your computer as a PDF file, ready to be shared. The magic doesn't stop on the front end. Remember when we clicked Generate Resume? Our front end sent all that data to our Flask backend. Let's look at the terminal where our app, Python Flask server, is running. For those who want to see the data directly, if you were to open the resumes DB file with a SQLite browser like DB browser for SQLite, you would find our resumes table, and within it, the latest entry, confirming all your resume details are safely stored. So, we've walked through building a dynamic web-based resume builder from the ground up, understanding every line of code, seeing the interactive template previews, performing the full user flow, and verifying data persistence on the backend. This project showcases the power of HTML, Tailwind CSS, JavaScript, Flask, and SQLite working together. As for future enhancements, this application has vast potential. User authentication, implementing login and registration, would allow multiple users to securely create, save, and manage their own private resumes, editing existing resumes, more sophisticated PDF generation, Word document export, cloud deployment. Learn to deploy this entire Flask application to a cloud platform like Google Cloud Run, AWS Elastic Beanstalk, or Heroku, making it accessible to anyone with an internet connection. This project serves as a fantastic foundation for understanding fundamental web development concepts across the full stack. If you found this detailed walkthrough helpful, please give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel for more coding tutorials, and let me know in the comments what other projects you'd like to see next. Happy coding!
Please do like, share, and subscribe, and DM me if you need any help with your projects.